Hey, what's up you guys? Today I'm talking about my April TBR. I really overfilled my March TBR, so this April TBR does have a couple books that are going over to next month because I actually really wanted to get to them and then I just didn't get the chance this month. I do have quite a big TBR for April again, however, a lot of the books are shorter. There's one book which we will get to which I am scared about. It is very big. I don't know, I don't know if I'm actually going to read it. We'll talk about it in a minute. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and please subscribe. It definitely means a lot. And then if you if you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments. And I am just going to shut up now and get started. So the first books that are actually going over from my March TBR into my April TBR are for my video on my friend Teresa's favourite books. I have 3 books that she has really liked and talked about and influenced me to buy. And I don't want to say what they are yet. It's kind of a secret TBR, so it's like, why am I even putting it in this video? But I really want to get to them. I really want to make this vlog. So that is my priority for April. My very first books I'm going to read is these 3 books for this vlog. So look out for that. Hopefully, maybe second week of April, maybe first week of April, but I doubt it. And yeah, I really want to get to them. They're all modern books as well. They're all like quite recent releases, which if you see the rest of this TBR, you will understand why I would quite like that, because this is a very classics heavy month again. But yeah, I just want to say, obviously it's a secret TBR, but Teresa's favourite books are getting read in April. My main theme for April are Russian books, and I would prefer to have some more recent modern books in here. However, I really need to get my physical TBR done, so all of these are books that were already on my physical TBR. And I will be making a recommendations video. However, they are all classics, which I know not everyone cares about, but I don't know. They're on my physical TBR. I want to get my physical TBR done, and I want to read different books from different countries. So the Russian Classics month it is. The very first one is Hard to Be a God by the Strugatsky brothers. I have read a book by them before. I can't remember what it was called. I didn't love it. It was okay. It was really confusing, to be honest. So hopefully this one's a bit better. But the premise is really interesting. It is a sci-fi following an undercover operative from a future planet Earth as he goes to an alien planet which is also populated by humans, and their society has not progressed past the Middle Ages. So this looks at religion and how blind faith actually is oppressive and prevents scientific development, and it also shows how human progress is bloody and cruel, and I think this is really interesting, so I'm really hoping that it lives up to my expectations and is a bit better than the other book by the brothers that I read. They are very, very well known, like they are the figureheads of Russian sci-fi, so hopefully I like this one. And again, I just think this one's got interest in the themes of religion and progress, and someone from the future going back to the Middle Ages, kind of, except it's not actually time travel because it's like a different planet. That sounds interesting to me. So yeah, fingers crossed this one's good, and it's not as confusing as the other book. The second book I'm going to read is a buddy read with my friend Rosie. We're basically doing a buddy read every single month for the foreseeable future, which I'm excited for because our last one was really fun. But this is A Hero of Our Time by Mikhail Lermontov, and this was published in 1840 and is apparently one of the first Russian psychological novels. It has a Byronic hero on a grand adventure involving gangs, soldiers, rivals and lovers, and that's pretty much all I can see about this book without going into like spoiler territory. The synopsises are all pretty vague, and from what I understood, because I'd never heard, actually I had heard of the Byronic hero before, but I never really clicked what that was. And it has a whole Wikipedia page. So a Byronic hero is named after Lord Byron, who is a very famous romantic English poet, and it is a character type who is proud and cynical and seeks adventure at any cost. And I think this is quite interesting. I haven't read anything by Lord Byron. I think I will in the future at some point because I know he's like a very important literary figure in English literature. But yeah, I think this is quite interesting. I don't know that much about it, but I like an adventure novel. It's a buddy read and it's pretty short. So, you know, the 3 of those together are just like a good combination. This next book is the one that I am scared of, and that is Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Probably butchered that. Someone commented on my like classics collection video, like making fun of how I said Dostoevsky. I think I said I don't know what I said, but it's a hard name, okay? This was published in 1866, and it follows a man who commits a random murder and is then pursued not only by the police but also by his own guilt and conscience. And it explores a lot of psychological issues about like guilt and fear, and also just like what happens to someone when they do a bad thing. It does sound really interesting, and I am really interested in it. He also makes friends with like a prostitute, which I think will be interesting to read about. I always like hearing about like that kind of stuff in classics. It's interesting to me. But I'm just nervous about this book because it is so long and I think it's quite dense. I think the text is going to be a little bit harder to read, a little bit slower to read. So hopefully I get to it. I do plan on starting it. I definitely do want to read it. It's just intimidating me a little bit. But yeah, hopefully I like it. It sounds interesting, and I've heard good reviews. I'm pretty sure Olivia from Olivia's Catastrophe gave it like 5 stars recently, but we'll see. A book that I am very excited to reread is Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. This was published in 1955 and follows an unreliable narrator, Humbert Humbert, who is a grown man that falls in love with a 12-year-old girl and does some really disgusting things and basically kidnaps her and takes her on a road trip across the USA in the name of love. This book is one of my favourites. I've reread it before. I read it when I was like 14 or something like that because I'm a Lana Del Rey stan, and Lana made a lot of references to Lolita, so I was like, okay, I need to see what this is about. And it's such a messed up story, but it's so beautifully written. It is so poetic. There's so many amazing quotes in it, and it really makes you think because Humbert Humbert is the narrator and he's an unreliable narrator. He's trying to convince you that his relationship with this 12-year-old girl, Dolores Hayes, who he names Lolita, is like consensual, but it's obviously not, and he makes you think that she's the one in control, and it's like a back and forth, and it's just so interesting, and I really do love it. And it's hard for me to actually kind of talk about it in a way because it is like such a dark topic, and it's hard to explain why you really enjoy a book about such a dark topic. But it's like if you read it, you'll understand, and it's like a classic for a reason. It is so good, and I am excited to reread it. I read it, like I said, back when I was like 14, and then I reread it in like January 2019 when I first started my booktube channel, but I didn't really properly talk about it. And to be honest, I kind of want to make a whole separate video about Lolita once I reread it, but it's such a dense topic, and I actually will link, I can't remember her name right now, but there is a girl who makes like video essays, and she did such a good video about Lolita, and she basically read it for the same reason as me. She was like a Lana Del Rey fan when she was like 14, and it's like an hour-long video, but it's so good. So I will link that in the description once I like find what her name was. She's not a booktuber or anything, but I can't remember now. But yeah, I'm excited to reread this, and I think I'll fly through it because I don't know, I just really enjoy it. And then I also want to read Lands by Vladimir Nabokov, and this is a collection of 3 short stories in the Penguin Mini Moderns edition. These are like 50 pages long, so it'll take me like a day to read. And I'm excited to read some more things by Vladimir Nabokov because I have not had the chance to do so. And he has so many other books, and I love Lolita, so I really do want to read his other stuff, and this will just give me like a little taster of some of his other stories. Moving out of the Russian books now, I have The Lady's Paradise by Emile Zola. I read Nana by Emile Zola a couple months ago and absolutely loved it. I think it was in February, and it was my favourite book of the month. It's one of my favourite books of 2020 so far, or 2021, and this is a group buddy read hosted by Dancing Lawn. I will leave the link to her announcement video in the description. She has set up like a Goodreads group where we can discuss like the different chapters and stuff, and they're reading just a few chapters, like it's over the course of the month, so that's why I decided to take part, even though I have like a big TBR anyway. This was published in 1883, and it recounts the rise of modern department stores in Paris, which sounds kind of like, okay, but it also discusses consumer culture, class relations, and changes in sexual attitudes, which all of those sound really interesting to me. I love all that stuff. And I've not actually read anything about consumer culture before, and you know, in 1883, I think that's going to be an interesting topic. And I just really want to read anything by Emile Zola because I put off reading Nana for so long, and then once I actually read it, I was like, oh my god, this is so good. So I want to read some more stuff by him, and this is a good place to start because obviously it is like a group buddy read, so it'll be fun to discuss our thoughts and stuff. And yeah, hopefully this one is just as good as Nana. And then for the next episode in my LGBT classics video series, which the very next episode will be out next week, hopefully. Like I said, I really overdone my March TBR. I'm like almost finished those books for the next video, but for episode 3, I have already read a couple of the books for it, which really is good for me because it takes my workload off a little bit. The first one that I'm going to read is Passing by Nella Larson, and this is the first the first book in this video series by a black author, and this is the story of two black women who were childhood friends and they meet again as adults. One of them has been passing as white, and not even her husband knows her true identity. Like, everyone around her in her life thinks that she is white, and as they become more involved in each other's lives again as adults, it begins to affect both of them psychologically, and they have to come to terms with a lot of different stuff about race and race relations and their identity and stuff like that, and it just sounds really interesting. There's also a homoerotic kind of subtext between the two women, apparently, which I think is quite subtle, but it has like a whole section on Wikipedia about it, so I'm hoping that it is also quite interesting. But yeah, just the whole race stuff just sounds so interesting, and I'm pretty sure The Vanishing Half is like inspired by this book, which I haven't read that, but I know it's very popular. So if you like The Vanishing Half, I would definitely recommend checking this out. I mean, obviously I've not read it yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be great, so I would recommend checking this one out as well if you like that, because I'm pretty sure that inspired The Vanishing Half. But yeah, that was Passing by Nella Larson, and then the other two I just have little tiny synopses about. Have Better Angel by Farman Brown. This was published in 1933 and is a coming of age story about a man discovering sexuality. Pretty basic, but apparently it was like it's quite well written and was quite well known at the time, so I'm interested to read that. That's pretty much all I know about it. It's quite a simple story, I think. And then I have Goodbye to Berlin by Christopher Isherwood, and this was published in 1939 and is a semi-autobiographical novel exploring sexuality and poverty during the Weimar period in Germany. I have to be honest, I didn't even know what the Weimar period was. I am not very well educated in certain periods of history and, you know, European history in this time. I know about like World War II, obviously, but that's pretty much everything I know. I actually know more about American history in the 1900s than I do about European history, but yeah, this would be interesting to read for the sexuality aspects, and then also just the German like Weimar period stuff. Apparently that's quite a big topic, and like the poverty of the people there and stuff like that. So I think it sounds quite cool, and hopefully all of these are pretty good and I have some great recommendations for you. So those were all of the books I plan to read in April. I'm prioritising the Therese video first, and then the Russian ones, and then the LGBT ones, because my video like for episode 2 won't actually be out until April anyway, so if my video for episode 3 doesn't come out till May, that's okay with me, but I would prefer to get it all out in April. What I'm discovering right now is it's kind of hard for me to actually make videos, because the videos that I have, like these ideas for like a video all about Russian books, I have to read like Russian books to do the video, and then like the LGBT classics ones, like I have to read the books to make the video. It's not like just recommendations from like books I've read before, so it's taken me a little bit of time to actually get videos out recently, but thank you for watching. I got really good feedback on my Japanese one. That was so fun, like to film, like the mukbang stuff. I'll link that below. I think I already said that if you haven't seen it, but that was just so fun to make and people seem to really enjoy it. I love like mukbang videos, so I just thought it'd be kind of fun to combine booktube and mukbangs. But yeah, definitely check that out if you haven't, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please comment any thoughts on any of these books, but also please subscribe if you have not already. It really means a lot to me, and that is pretty much all I have to say. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.